today we have to talk about Bitcoin. So I mentioned on my previous video how it was going to come down to 108K, and we have now since seen that happen, and now we are probably going to end up dropping below it. We're going to talk about where Bitcoin is about to go next. And anyways, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Well, let's get straight into it. So as you can see right now, Bitcoin is down 7% in the last month and is also down 2.8% in the last 24 hours. So Bitcoin has currently been literally bringing everything down in the market. We have Ethereum down to 4,300. Ethereum is really pushing for 5,000 not too long ago. So the fact is now at 4,300 is a pretty big deal, and it's a decent discount as well. So we're seeing everything in the market currently pulling back because of Bitcoin. But I'll tell you now, when the money starts flowing back in, it's going to flow back into these altcoins more so than Bitcoin because we're now transferring into altcoin season. We'll probably also see Bitcoin rising as well, but we are also entering into altcoin season, so we have to remember that. Now let's do some charting here with Bitcoin because as you can currently see, we're making our way down to 108K, and this is currently on the 4-hour chart. Now, if you've seen my previous videos on Bitcoin, you can see how I mentioned this 108K support was going to be met again. And then I also mentioned how we are coming down here to this 104K support with our Fibonacci retracement. So if you know, like when we come down here to this Fibonacci at 104K, if we don't immediately bounce back from 104K up to about 112K, then we are going to make an even further drop to that next Fibonacci down to 99K. And that 99K is probably going to end up being the bottom for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has actually three choices right now. It can either bottom out at 108K and then recover from there, or it can bottom out at 104K and recover from there, or it can bottom out at 99K and recover from there. Either way, it's going to recover from one of these positions. So that's pretty much what we have to watch out for here with Bitcoin. Eventually, it will hit one of these supports and recover for them. And I'll just kind of break down where I got these support levels from. So for those of you that do not know, all the way back here, let's take off all of these indicators first, okay? So all the way back here, we have the 108K support. In these two areas back here, this was a double top, right? This topped twice. So both of these areas here are 108K. This represents our 108K support. We had major resistance at the end of 2024 of last year and the beginning of 2025 of this year at 108K Bitcoin. So that major resistance then becomes our support. And not only did we have major resistance there at 108K, we also had it here around May of 2025 and June of 2025. We also had 108K, kind of at 109K, is really inside of a zone from 108K to 109K. So we're really looking at a zone here, but still, we're still looking quite bullish from here, actually. So we still had that same resistance. So we really have a resistance zone here from this 109K area all the way over here to the 108K area. So this area, we usually see lots of buying pressure coming in from these areas. So now let's take off these indicators one more time here. So we had 108K as the support here. And then the reason why I say 104K is, for one, our Fibonacci is there. For two, we hit it multiple times. We hit 104K back down here. It was support here. And then we kind of had some resistance zones here and a little bit back over here. But mainly it's because this is our Fibonacci support. So when we look at our Fibonacci's going from the swing highs to the swing lows, we are now looking at 104K for that Fibonacci support. So that's why that's there. But the 104K support is not as strong as the 108K support and as the 99K support. The strongest support is at 99K. but we do have pretty strong support at 108K as well. But I truly believe if we break 108K, we might just blow past 104 and go straight to 99 and then have a huge recovery on the upside. And that's really what I'm looking more towards, is coming down to 99K and then having the huge uptrend. Because if you think about it from this perspective, let's take the date and time range here, and then we can take this from, let's go ahead and take this actually from 99K. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this and we're gonna bring it from 99K all the way up. Okay, so we're gonna take it from 99K all the way up to our previous all-time high, which is about 26%. So just going from 99K to the previous all-time high in Bitcoin alone is 26% in gains. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when this pulls back, if it hits 99K, that's going to be a good buying opportunity for a lot of people. Now let's kind of look at some indicators here because they're very important. Now, if we look over here at the MACD, right? First, we'll look at the MACD. So looking at the MACD first, you can kind of see that we have came off of this oversold area here, and now we're kind of reversing to the upside. But now you're kind of seeing the MACD curving downwards again, looking like it wants to go down for another downtrend. You can also see it printing out one little red candlestick there, and this is for the 4-hour chart. With the %R trend exhaustion, you can see that the trend is not yet exhausted on the downside. We still have more downside momentum. The blue lines on the %R trend exhaustion represent a long-term trend, and the white lines are short-term trends. So for right now, currently, we are inside of that downtrend zone. So when we also come over here to the daily chart, we can see that we are a bit oversold here on our MACD. The MACD is actually very oversold, and I do believe we do have some potential to the upside when looking at the MACD here, but we still have some selling. We still have some selling to get through with. So we got to get through this selling first on the MACD, and then we will be good. But first, that selling has to stop. And with the %R trend exhaustion here on the daily chart, you can see it's trending from the upside, slowly coming down from here. So eventually it will meet itself like halfway and then do like a reversal up, just like it did back here and here and here. But again, that's probably going to be around 108K, 104K, or 99K. Those are our 3 price zones that we really have to watch out for Bitcoin. And now when we come to the shorter charts, now we're looking at the hourly chart, the 1-hour chart. And this chart shows some pretty important data here that I don't want you to forget about. Still selling off here on the MACD for the hourly chart, and it still has more pressure to go. And with the %R trend exhaustion, it's almost exhausted on the downside, which means that as it continues to go down, it's going to be down for a little bit longer. And then eventually you're going to see that reversal to the upside. So the trend is going to soon reverse to a bullish trend, which should be by the time we reach either 99K, again, 104K, and 108K. So everything comes back to those levels. But yeah, this is pretty much all I got for you all today. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think we're going to end up pulling back to these levels? Anyways, let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. As always, I'll be back with another video.